Joining me right now to talk more about that is Pennsylvania Congressman, member of the House Rules Committee, Guy Reschenthaler. Congressman, thanks very much for being here. What are your thoughts?
Thank you, Maria.
Why are they allowing now, moving this bill forward to allow non-citizens to vote in Washington, D.C.?
Well, I have a lot of thoughts on this. Number one, Maria, it just shows you the disconnect and how disingenuous the left is when it comes to immigration. Case in point, when you walk down the streets of D.C., all you see are signs saying all are welcome, that they're a sanctuary city, same thing in Martha's Vineyard. But as soon as illegal immigrants come into those areas, they remove them right away. So this is just them paying lip service to illegal immigrants. Additionally, it's a way for them to dilute the vote, because if there are illegal votes cast, it by definition dilutes legal votes, which leads to chaos and issues calling out elections, et cetera. The left really feeds off this chaos because it gives them a chance to cram down their far left radical policy, Maria. So I really think this is by design.
It's unbelievable. Meanwhile, this morning we have a fourth migrant bus arriving at Port Authority. The Democrat mayor of El Paso has sent more migrants to New York City and Chicago than Texas Governor Greg Abbott. So all this, upset over Greg Abbott. Meanwhile, the mayor of El Paso has more. 7,000 have been sent to New York, more than 1,800 to the Windy City. So he's as well trying to get the attention of Democrat leaders in New York and Chicago, because he's dealing with all of these people, 7,000 people a day crossing into Texas.
Yeah, and Maria, if I could just put some more numbers on this, you have over 4 million illegal immigrants that have come across this border. That is staggering. It would be one of the largest, if you put all those illegal immigrants together, it would be one of the largest cities in the United States. Additionally, you have over 800,000 getaways. These are individuals that don't turn themselves in to law enforcement. So presumably they're criminals. We know that terrorists are coming across. We've caught individuals that are on the terrorist watch list. So 800,000. And to put that in perspective, all those getaways, they would have at least one representative in Congress, because that's over the size of a congressional district. So this is a staggering number. It's dangerous. But again, that the issue here is the fact that the left, the ruling class, the elites on the coast, they want to pay lip service to these individuals. But what they're doing is they're fostering a humanitarian crisis, because once these illegal immigrants come here, they're at best indentured servants to the drug cartels. They're continuing to be victimized. And there's an easy way to end this. You just go back to the Trump policies that we had 2 years ago, where you had illegal immigration on the decline, you had a remain in Mexico policy, and you didn't have this catch and release that you're seeing now at the southern border. Democrats refuse to do that, though, because, again, they like the chaos. They feed off it.
Well, there's more than that. Connect the dots. They're making, non-citizens able to vote. So they obviously are expecting these people to vote Democrat because their policies let them in. And don't forget the fentanyl. We all know somebody who's died of fentanyl. There is a serious drug poisoning underway of Americans. This is not overdoses. This is poisoning of Americans because of fentanyl. Meanwhile, the FBI apparently closing in on bringing charges against Hunter Biden. A former Justice Department official tells Fox News that an outcome to the case could be imminent. So what are your thoughts here? A Delaware prosecutor reportedly considering a number of potential charges against the president's son, including his failure to pay income tax. Here you have Joe. This is ironic. You have Joe Biden hiring 87,000 new auditors at the IRS so that he could go find tax cheats. Meanwhile, his son is one of them. He has not paid income taxes. Money laundering is another charge. Various tax crimes. Lying when buying a gun. Congressman, the only thing I don't see here is the biggest of all, and that is influence peddling and accepting tens of millions of dollars from Chinese officials tied to the CCP. That's not here. Why are they bringing this now, 32 days before the midterm elections?
Well, exactly, Maria. The worst charges have not been brought forward. And my initial reaction to this news is that the DOJ knows what's coming. They know the Republicans are poised to take back the Senate and the House. And frankly, they fear Jim Jordan having the gavel in judiciary. They fear James Comer in oversight. They're really worried about the oversight investigation. So what they do is they offer up this distraction, this deflection, and they'll say, we'll move forward on the least serious offenses and charges of Hunter Biden so we can seem like we were proactive and we weren't treating him with kid gloves and special treatment. But that's not going to work. The American people are too smart for that. And I can tell you that Comer and Jordan will have robust oversight and investigation. And what we're not being told, Maria, is still what's on that laptop. What we're not being told is that Hunter Biden still has these deals with foreign leaders, particularly, like you said, China, oligarchs in Russia, the corrupt dealings in Ukraine. So we are just really at this point weeks away from having oversight investigation showing, number one, the DOJ knew about this and they chose not to act on it. And two, when they did act, they ignored all the serious charges and went forward with these lesser charges. Maria, can I just make one point on the fentanyl?
Yeah, go ahead.
So Pennsylvania has the third highest deaths of fentanyl, and we're only the fifth largest state. This is a real issue here. And I've been telling people the reason that we're seeing this chaos with fentanyl is because Democrats in the ruling elite really view this as just a flyover state problem. They don't think that it's affecting their communities. They see it as something that affects people who eat at Cracker Barrel or shop at Walmart. That's why it's so hard to get the Democrats to see that the southern border, the poor southern border, is leading to the fentanyl that's coming across our border unchecked and literally killing people in the heartland of the United States. Yeah,
well, this is a poisoning of America. It starts in China. These components of fentanyl are made in China. Then they're trafficked into Mexico, and the dangerous drug cartels are sending them into America to kill Americans. Let's see this exactly what it is. This is poisoning of American citizens. Not a word from this administration. He's talking about marijuana this morning. I would have liked to hear a comment about fentanyl and what he's going to do about this problem. Congressman, we'll be watching. Guy Reschenthaler, good to see you this morning.
Thanks
very much.